Insider Jon Heyman with us. Good morning to you. How you doing, John?
Good. How are you doing?
It's nice to have you with us. You know we're very gossipy. We always want to talk about the trade deadline. So just humor us for a little bit. I find it fascinating that we're always trying to trade guys away in May, especially with the Cubs, because anyone can win that division. Give me one guy who won't be on the north side of Chicago in 3 months' time.
Well, I wouldn't say that there'll be one guy who won't be. If I was going to be asked who's the most likely, I'd still say Kris Bryant. They did try to trade him in the winter. The price was high, or they thought so at the time, but boy, he's got his game back now, and he is just a terrific player. The price will still be just as high, maybe even higher now that he's got an OPS over 1,000. I'd say he'd be the most likely, but I'm with you. They're 17-17. They're in the race in that division. At this point, I would say nobody is particularly likely, but if I was going to pick one, I'd probably lean Bryant over Baez. Hendricks, they didn't really even try in the winter. Kimbrel has got his game back, too. So, if they do fall out of it, Kimbrel, I could see potentially being traded. They have an option on him. He'd be pretty valuable as a trade commodity the way he's pitching right now.
Honest assessment of the Cubs, almost 40 games in.
Uphill battle.
Yeah.
Again, in that division against the Cardinals in Milwaukee. I look at that. Can't trade Kyle Hendricks. $14 million, and he could pitch to a 1. You always need that.
And his last two starts, he said he looked
Kimbrel's
better.
The guy for me. I mean, the Braves, ding. I mean, there's going to be a ton of teams that need bullpen guys. And if he's going to throw the ball the way he's been throwing the ball, he makes a ton of sense.
I saw the things you wanted to talk about, John, before the show, and I saw Max Scherzer and the word trade, and I'm like, please, as a Nationals fan, stop trading Max Scherzer away. What are you hearing?
Well, we're going to do this again like we did 2 years
Yes,
ago,
we
and
did.
I speculated for 2 months, and it was all a big waste of time, of course, and you were very happy that the Nats won the World Series. After being much worse than they are now. They're in last place, but, in that division, they're in the race now, and, I suspect they're going to hang around, and even if they're somewhat close, I think it would be a long shot to trade him. He leads the league at 61 strikeouts, still going very, very, very strong. They'd love to re-sign him. He is a free agent after the year. I think I've seen the speculation now for 2 weeks already, so I'm not the first one to do this, but I think it's a major long shot.
Just in terms of separation, do you honestly think there's enough separation that you're going to see? And what do you?
I just don't think it's a long shot. I think this is a situation where Mike Rizzo, we talked about the Albert Pujols, guys get to go out on their own terms. This would be a situation where I call Max in and be like, I can maybe pick up 2 or 3 prospects. I want to re-sign you. The Lerner family loves you. Do you want a shot at a World Series? Because we're not going this year, potentially, right? So where can I put you that you'd be happy?
But you're 3 games out in the NL East.
But Lauren, you got to be honest evaluators of yourself.
I'm
not saying they can't get hot and go on fire, but looking at the total landscape,
Gosh, I don't see that, Dero. I see that any team
you don't
win
see
that division. Okay.
And they do look better than they did.
You don't think that the Nationals have a chance to win that division?
Listen, I know, again, I sit up here as a guy who knew exactly where he stood on every roster I ever played. But when I look at the Nationals, I just did a YouTube game, and I know there's some guys dinged up. But you got Josh Harrison batting 3rd and Starlin Castro batting 4th. That's a big ask to score runs. Okay? Josh Bell's on, we're hoping. Kyle Schwarber went 2nd. There's a lot of... Maybe.
Yeah, but Soto's back.
Maybe.
Turner's outstanding.
I'm not saying they can't get on a run. I'm just saying Mad Max, if they were to fall out of it, I would call him into my office and ask him, because can you imagine him pitching?
Well, you have to. He's
Yes,
10. At this point, he's 10-5, so you have no choice but to call him in.
Yeah, he changes everything now.
Yes.
What if the Red Sox picked him up? I'm just saying.
To me, the Rockies are a different story because they're in a division.
Lauren wants to change the subject. She didn't like that subject.
I just can't even understand that there's going to
What
be
if
a
he
large
wants
enough.
to go? What if he's got family we don't know about?
Well, he does in St. Louis. You already traded him to St. Louis.
He said that doesn't matter.
I know. I asked him in the postseason. He almost got angry. He's like,
really?
I just won this game. Shush. I was like, okay. That was just a storyline that I thought mattered, right? Rockies are different because there's a clear divide, right? To me, in the NL West,
Yep.
And the NL East. There's the competitive and the not so competitive. What are you hearing out
I
of
think
Colorado?
so. I mean, they're going to look at it. Clearly, Trevor Story is a huge star. You know, he's a free agent after the year. People outside that organization see them as having really very little chance to re-sign him. Some people who know Trevor Story and feel that he likes to be comfortable and likes Colorado, they think it's possible that they re-sign him, but most people don't think it's likely. I mean, this is one where the ownership is going to get involved, though. I mean, they have a new acting GM, Bill Schmidt, great guy, but I think the ownership is going to drive the bus on this one way or the other. John Gray is off to a very nice start, also a free agent after the year. That one I could see more likely. And Marquez is under a pretty good contract, not off to a great year. That one I could see as a possibility, but you know, the Rockies are not a team that does this trading very much, so I'm still skeptical whether they're going to do any of it.
Could you see that with Story? I mean, comfort matters. We talk about a guy like, because we talk about a guy like Strasburg. He likes to hide behind Max Scherzer. He likes the comfortable. That
He's
matters.
been to the postseason twice, right? They went
Yeah.
back-to-back years. And I'm telling you, once you get a taste of it, the money is so astronomical for these guys, he's going to get broke off. He's getting north of $300 million. So he's never going to have to worry about that ever again. You got to win.
Win.
You got to be in October. You got to.
Or at least competitive. What are we?
And Colorado's
May 10th.
not close to that.
And tough
For
division.
a while.
Tough division, too. I mean, I know the Dodgers aren't performing, but they're a great team.
He might go to Texas now. That could be a comfort thing in the free agency. He grew up there. I don't know. You know, for me, like Mike Trout, we've talked about this. Mike Trout is more comfortable playing on the West Coast. I would be more comfortable playing away from where I grew up.
Why? Family.
All the ick that would
yeah.
potentially come with it. I just don't.
Let me play.
I didn't fall in love with that stuff. Some guys really love that. They're the Pied Piper. I got, 18 tickets coming tonight, and they love it. I didn't. I treated it as a job.
What are you laughing about, Robert?
I wasn't good enough to
focus on other things?
Oh, yeah. Family
Sometimes-
section, I'm grinding.
You're grinding out at bats. Sometimes injuries dictate the direction. With Byron Buxton, we know now it's going to be weeks. Are we closer to figuring out what the direction is the Twins will go come trade deadline?
You know, I mean, they're off to a surprisingly bad start. I think they're going to be pretty realistic about what goes on there. I know that Byron Buxton, if he does get healthy and he is on the market, he's going to have a huge market. He's got another year before free agency. I mean, there's a long list of teams right now. I mean, you could start with the Phillies that could use a center fielder, but there are many teams with an injured center fielder who would be very, very interested in Byron Buxton, who's hitting .370, finally fulfilling all of the expectations that we had for him. If they do put him out on the market, they would get an absolute haul for him. But, I'm sure they're a little surprised by where they are right now. That doesn't mean they won't be realistic, though, and I wouldn't rule that one out.
John, you rock. Thanks so
Hold
much
on.
for that. Go ahead.
I
Tell
got
me.
a comment on that. Derek Falvey's in his office right now throwing coffee at the TV. There's no way Byron Buxton goes anywhere. The one thing I would say to him, similar to talking to Snicker about Ronald Acuna, I would say if you want to contain him, move him to right field.